The Patriots look to bounce back against the Bengals, while the Giants and Packers desperately need wins in Minnesota and Miami, respectively. Hey, everyone, welcome into another NFL Breakdown, this time for week number 16. Rob Wong joined alongside by national NFL writer John Crick. And, John, we got to begin with the New England Patriots, who suffered one of the worst losses I think I've ever seen in my football watching career, with one of the dumbest plays we've ever seen from Jacoby Myers. They come in as 3.5-point home underdogs to the Cincinnati Bengals. Can they bounce back after that really impressive loss, if you want to put it that way?
I know it was. I couldn't believe what I was watching when I was watching that live, as I usually do on Sunday, taking all the games in. I just couldn't believe that a Patriots player, of all 32 teams, of all coaches we have seen in our lifetimes, that Bill Belichick would have two players that would panic when the game was tied, no need to start lateraling like the Stanford-Cal game, and throw it blindly to nobody and be picked off and taken back the other way for the winning score at the end of regulation. If you missed it, look it up. It's just, it's incredible to see. But, there was a time several years ago, I guess it must be almost 10 years ago now, when New England lost an ugly game. I think it was at Kansas City or somewhere. And Bill Belichick just would say nothing but, it's on to Cincinnati. It's on to Cincinnati. Well, for them now, it's on to Cincinnati. And they're one of the hottest teams in the league, not just in the AFC, but overall. They're playing really well. They're protecting Joe Burrow, and that has now, in the last two seasons that he has been, he got injured a lot toward the end of his rookie year. He tore his ACL. But we're seeing Joe Burrow now, when he is given time to throw, be as good as anybody. And I mean anybody. Mahomes, Allen, anyone. He is playing really well. They're on a wonderful winning streak if you're a Bengals fan. And I just don't see how New England, with their hiccuping offense, can even stay close for three quarters, let alone four.
Speaking of improbable victories, the Vikings definitely had one last week against the Indianapolis Colts. They come in as 3.5-point home favorites against the Giants this week. New York desperately needing a win here to keep their playoff hopes alive. Who are you going with in this one?
Got to be Minnesota. I think they got a pretty good scare last week. They're down, 33-0 to Indianapolis at home. Boo Birds out. For a team that has already clinched a playoff spot and even clinched its own division, it's kind of tough to stay motivated when you still have several weeks to go. We've seen it with other teams. Traditionally not like a New England team, but with some teams that are kind of new to that high level. And that's kind of the case for Minnesota. And I think that probably scared them a little bit, that, hey, okay, we can't just mail it in, and you can't in the NFL. If another team you're playing, for whatever reason, is motivated, as the Colts were last week, you come in there motivated and not, just kind of thinking that you can waltz your way to a win. Doesn't happen in the NFL any week, any season. And I think with the New York Giants coming in, fighting for their playoff lives, an NFC wildcard berth, that they're going to be coming in motivated. A Brian Daboll team is going to play hard. And I think Minnesota got scared against the Colts, and they'll come in and play a better game and should win.
And lastly, the Packers got a big win last week to keep their dire playoff hopes alive. They have to head out to Miami this week. The Dolphins 3.5-point favorites at home. Does Aaron Rodgers still have a little magic left to keep things going for Green Bay here?
Sure. Their offense is playing better probably than at any point this season. Maybe even since about this time last season, to be honest. Their offense kind of shriveled up down the stretch last year, especially in the playoffs. So, yeah, they could win. And with Tua Tagovailoa. See, I only have to print that usually. I don't have to print much. So we'll
just go with Tua.
When I'm typing in his name, it's Tagovailoa. That's how I say it in my head. So, I've got to now actually say it and pronounce it the way it's supposed to be. No offense. But, yeah, he's had a couple of up and down weeks. He played pretty well in the snow, surprisingly, at Buffalo last Saturday night. And this is a big game, Christmas Day. It'll be, pretty much brunch time for anybody across Canada watching this game. And it's against the Packers, who are playing for their playoff lives, literally. And it's still a very small chance that they could make it, even if they went out. But Aaron Rodgers is saying over and over again, he's going to keep playing, even though he's got the rib injury and the thumb injury. He's going to keep playing, and as long as they have a chance at the playoffs. So they're motivated. Obviously, the Dolphins are, because they're pretty much dead now for the AFC East title. So they're playing for their playoff lives, much better chance. I think that's going to be a really good game. It might be the best game of the weekend. It really might be. It's not going to be super hot down there, as it often is. It's I believe the last time I looked was about 17 degrees cloudy down in Miami, which is pretty chilly for them at this time of year. So it's not going to be overwhelming for the Packers, which, they're just coming off a frigid home game at night. So I think it could be a really good game. I really look forward to it, but Miami should win.
It should be a great gift for NFL fans. Football on Christmas, like you mentioned. For all of John's Week 16 NFL picks, sign up for his Crick's Lance newsletter and follow him on Twitter at John Crick.